Well, good morning. Welcome to our first open pagan church in our new location. Yes, well, you'll notice it looks a little different behind me. We are in the new office. We're not moved in yet by any stretch of the means, but we are here. And it looks like, even though we're on a much smaller ISP, so far seems to be doing pretty good. Running right about 2.6 megs streaming. Good morning to everyone who's made it. If the sound is a little scratchy or needs to be adjusted, please do let me know. I did purposely turn the camera away from the server rack for security purposes. Everybody doesn't need to see my server setup. So if the servers get too loud or you can hear them or whatever, we're in a little bit smaller office and I don't have the sound breakup yet. And to be honest, I just couldn't be bothered to bring in the back screen this morning. Still a little sore from yesterday. So, right. Disclaimer. Ladies and gentlemen, those of you who may be watching the pre-recorded broadcast later. Disclaimer. This is a adult topic. Not going to use a bunch of, adult words, if you will. But we will be talking about pagans and sky-clad. Those who do, why they do, those who don't, and the myriad of reasons why they wouldn't. So, without further ado, let's get started. Got vape, got Dr. Pepper. Here we go. Pagans and sky-clad. Again, rating TVMA. If you don't want the wee ones to hear about pagans and sky-clad, you better send them out of the room, because that's what we'll be talking about. I hope to see your comments, your thoughts, your opinions. Please, by all means, drop them in the chat. I'm reading it as it comes along. I do kind of like the new streaming format Facebook come up with, because you don't have to double and triple load your computer with a bunch of tabs and windows just to see what's popping up in the live feed. So, again, good morning to you all. Thank you for watching. Open Pagan Church is sponsored by no one. So, here we go. Why do pagans do sky-clad? Well, pagans' beliefs of the old country, ancient religions, as far back as you can research. Sky-clad has been a normal, everyday occurrence of Sabbath and ritual. Those of us that do or have done sky-clad, we do so to get closer to the gods. And ladies and gentlemen, we were born naked. We were born with it all hanging out. We did not come into this world fully clothed. We did not come into this world in a three-piece or a tuxedo ready to impress the masses. That's a society thing. We came in stark naked, totally bare, brand new, ready to learn, experience, to hopefully enjoy life for what there is. And our bodies will go out of this world fully clothed. Some people in a several $100 suit to be buried, to rot and go back to the mother. I'll probably get chastised for that one. Me, I'm going to be stripped down naked and cremated. I'm going to go in the same way I'm going to go out the same way I come in. Stark naked, but cremated. So let's have a little fun with it. There are sections of pagan groups, groves, tribes, covens, whatever, that are members of nudist colonies that don't have to worry about doing ritual sky-clad because they live sky-clad. There's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely fine. I mean, I commend them in being able to live their daily lives in sky-clad. I'm all for it. If I could get by with it, I would do the same. I quite frankly find clothes to be a restricted bothersome. So there are also groups, groves, covens, whatever you call them, of pagans that simply strictly do sky-clad because their philosophy is that every ritual should turn into the Great Rite. The Great Rite is, of course, some form of sexual act or multiple sexual act during a caste circle. It is supposed to enhance fertility. It is supposed to enhance virility and veracity. Well, I am told I would not say that if I lived in Scotland full time. Yes, I would. Um, but anyway, I told you I'd get it handed to me over this topic. So, why wouldn't people do sky-clad? Well, let's read some of our kickback we have over here. We got hugs, we got hellos, we got good mornings. Sky-clad to me does not just mean naked, doing ritual nude. Okay. Native spiritual law says having sex in the open, in the woods, is not a good thing. Well, there's a reason behind that, and I did kind of research that earlier on when I was first studying the different shamanic philosophies. And there's a good reason why natives say having sex in the woods is not a good thing. I've done that. There are things in the woods that can creepy crawlies that can get places you just really don't want them to be. But anyway, I don't want to get too visual with that. So why don't people do sky-clad? Well, there's a myriad of reasons. Okay, and there's not one in particular reason. So I don't want anybody to think I'm picking on them when I voice a lot of these reasons that I've heard over almost 20 years of not doing sky-clad. One of the reasons is self-confidence, embarrassment of your own physical body. no human body is perfect, but a lot of reasons that um, people, men and women, do not do skyclad is because they're embarrassed by their body. And another reason, a real big reason, most especially here in the States, and I know in the UK, a lot of adults do not do skyclad rituals because of child protection laws. It is illegal by the federal government for adults, members over 18, to be naked in front of children of any age under the age of 18. So by doing a skyclad ritual with minors present or where they could possibly see what's going on is a felony in America. Um, it is also illegal in the UK. Now, other countries in the planet, other countries in the world, they don't care. Now, I'm not here to get into a great big sociological, hypothetical, philosophical debate over if skyclad is right or wrong. We're here simply to discuss what skyclad is, why some people do it and some people don't. There are more people nowadays that don't do, refuse to do, or would not be caught dead in a skyclad circle. There are those that have no problems going to a skyclad circle, but they're not going to bare their skin before the gods. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. The few skyclad circles we did have on property down south, we made every possible event for minors under the age of 18 to be sequestered in one of the houses with at least two adults, usually just one, where there was no way minors could get out to circle. Once they turned 18, if they wanted to join a skyclad ritual, they were more than welcome. So by doing that, we facilitated both sides of the rule. We had skyclad ritual. You were not required to go skyclad. It was welcome. If you came with children, minors under the age of 18, those minors were required to stay sequestered to one of the houses where there was no way they could get out to circle. And I would still do the same thing today. Any ritual, to me, I'm going to solidify that. Any ritual to me is quite welcome to be open to skyclad. There are certain arrangements that need to be made if an individual is going to possibly go skyclad during circle. If the spirit moves you, by all means, shed it off. If the spirit doesn't move you, don't worry about it. Skyclad is a personal, spiritual event. Now, we only did one skyclad ritual in circle down south where we entered the circle skyclad. We only had one circle. It was a Beltane. I don't remember what year it was, but everybody was screaming we wanted a full-blown skyclad ritual. Okay, we put it together. It's what you want. It's what we're going to do. We advertised it for like 2 months because House of Pagans has always been an open circle. Whether you're pagan or not, Christian or not, atheist or not, whatever, you're welcome to come to our circle. However, if we were having a sky-clad ritual, we wanted to make sure parents knew that this particular ritual was not necessarily a family event. Because if your children were minors, we would recognize and unfortunately enforce the law. And that is that if you're a minor, you will be sequestered to one of the houses where there's no way that you could observe adult nudity, thereby costing all of us 20 years in the state penitentiary. But let's go back, or let's go forward and continue why people don't do sky-clad rituals. Well, we know there are those groups of people that simply do sky-clad ritual to flip off the social right, to shove it in the face of Christian philosophy that we have the right as pagans to bear all before our gods. Well, we do. We have the right to bear all before our gods. But me personally, believe that I do not have the right to bear all before my gods if, by doing so, I am going to become an offensive nature to other people that are in my presence. Now let me say that again. If by myself bearing all, going sky-clad before my gods, is going to offend people in my social presence, in my personal presence, I'll generally not do it. Which is just why our sky-clad rituals were heavily advertised, and we were, you were told straight up, there is a possibility of sky-clad. So if sky-clad makes you uncomfortable, you don't have to go sky-clad, but don't come off on us, of those of us that are going to. Now, we could easily bring up the fact that most pagans today are socially programmed by Judeo-Christianic society and idealism. Right, wrong, or indifferent. It is what it is. So there's no way that you can truly go to a pagan event and not have in the back of your head some form of that Judeo-Christian philosophy still programmed in your brain. Okay? It's going to be there. Posted neo-pagan. Well, there's no such thing as a non-neo-pagan. I'm sorry. We're all New Age. We're all pagan. Not a single one of us lives exactly as the ancients did, and that's probably a good thing. And that's probably a bad thing, but it is what it is. So, I don't even use the term neo-pagan because this is 2017 fixing to be 2018, and there's no way you can help but not be New Age. I'm sorry. I just don't. I don't care what you say. You can't. And we'll go down that debate another day. So what are some of the other reasons modern day pagans do not go sky-clad? Well, we talked about self-esteem and embarrassment of self. I'm 55, 56 and to be 56. I promise you, I don't have the body I had 20 years ago. I don't have the body I had even 10 years ago. So that little niggle in the back of your brain that says, I am embarrassed about the way I use, the way I look now does cause for concern. It does cause for one to think about whether or not you really actually want to bear all, because you know that the people around you are going to see all of your hills and valleys, as it were. you know, Come on, it is what it is. As we get older, um, our hills and valleys may turn into um, mountains and locks. You know, but that's your body. You know, whether or not you bear it to the gods is up to you. And like I say, the other reason people wouldn't bear to the gods is because of that bringing with them the Judeo Christian philosophy of you cannot be naked or nude in front of anyone but your intended mate. Now, I will tell you there is a movement, and there has been a movement since the 60s to get away from that. There are more there are more nudist colonies in 2017 than there ever has been, and they are registered nudist colonies. They are behind a closed fence. You know when you enter, you're entering a nudist colony. Most of those nudist colonies, folks, are Christian based. Kind of cool, really. But what do you think some of the other reasons are? I noticed everybody's kind of being real quiet over here in the chat area. I'm not used to that. But what do you think about Sky-clad ritual? Well, let's talk about one of the other reasons for not going Sky-clad. I was picked on about it just a second ago. My path, of course, most of you know, is Celtic shaman. I've spent a lot of time in Scotland. I have done ritual in Scotland. One of the rituals I did was at Kilmartin. It was 30 degrees Fahrenheit, colder than a witch's hooey in a brass bra. And to I managed to get down to just my pants. The top half of me was bare. It's just because it's what I wanted to do. Um, Number one, Kilmartin Circle is a very big circle. So I figured I didn't want to scare the masses. And but weather, cold, is a very big thing. Why people might not want to go Sky-clad. Now, of course, if you have a big raging fire, Sky-clad be quite nice. So let's read some of the post. Quite frankly, my gods and goddesses, my gods and guides, don't give a fig what I wear and don't wear while talking to them. You're absolutely right. They don't care. I think that's probably, yep, somebody says, never got into Sky-clad yet. And yes, I am reminded that it was sleeting that day. But you know what? Now here's the thing, and here's the point I want to make for getting in the mindset of Sky-clad. Getting in the mindset of Sky-clad is almost a form of meditated self-hypnosis. It's kind of like walking across fire. I know many, many people that walk coals that build a 10-foot strip of fire and they put themselves in a meditative trance and they walk the fire. So, what is the difference between getting yourself in a meditative trance to walk the fire, getting yourself in a meditative trance to sit um, bare topless in a circle, meditating to the gods in 30 whatever degree, whether it was sleet? I didn't feel the cold. I didn't feel the cold until I was done, headed back outside of circle, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh, it's freaking cold out here. Close, close, now, close. Yes, I shook like a leaf for almost an hour after that. But during, I felt released. Okay? I felt like I was a part of something bigger than myself. Now, in retrospect, no, you don't have to get sky-clad to feel that meditative, hypnotic trance of circle. You don't have to be sky-clad. You don't have to be sky-clad to walk the fire. You don't have to be sky-clad to embrace the cold. You don't have to be sky-clad to step into circle. Okay? There. But like I say, there's a myriad of reasons why you would. And there's just as many reasons why you wouldn't. Personally, I enjoy Skyclad. I haven't been or performed a Skyclad circle. Hell, somebody would have to tell me because I don't remember. I miss it. I like Skyclad circles. It's a freedom to me that you don't normally experience or get in a fully clothed skyclad circle. So let's take just a moment, and not going to flip over to the music because I'm still organizing all of my monitor setup and computer setup, so I'm not as organized as I was in the old office. But let's take just a moment. I'm gonna get a drink, a couple of vapes, let my voice rest for a minute. So if you need to get up, we are 10 a.m. Central Time here in North Texas. Um, if you need to get up, stretch your legs, whatever, step away from your desk, that's fine. We'll give it just a minute and we'll come back. So, like I said, it was going to be just a minute. Just needed to clear out my sinuses and catch a vape or two and get a drink of Dr. Pepper and kind of clear it out. Okay, so let me get back over to my little page here. There we go. All right. Let's see. Yesterday I had a small morning ritual on the porch, 24 degrees in just my shorts that I wear around the house. Felt great. Absolutely. Been there, done that. Um, yep, yep. Done sky-clad alone during ritual, drawing down the moon. Yep. Um, I've done that too. I've done that too. Um, Sky-clad in the back room alone. Everybody's asleep. You get up in the middle of the night and you just quite simply feel the need to bear it and share it to the gods and goddesses. It's a mindset. It's all it is. I mean, admittedly, honestly, the gods could care less whether you got clothes on or not. Um, the goddess doesn't care if you come to her sky clad or fully dressed in a three-piece suit, damn tuxedo, or an evening gown, or a nitty teddy. The goddess doesn't care. The gods could care less. Skyclad is a human thing. And I think that's what most people have been waiting on me to say. Skyclad is a human thing. It's not a god thing. It's not a god and goddess thing. It's not a thing that has to be done to be able to get close to the gods. And this is a good point. The preoccupation of pagans with nudity actually always made and does make me wonder if I'm actually pagan. Yes, you are pagan. By definition of your belief, you are pagan. The fact of whether you like skyclad or not, or whether or not you're preoccupied with being nude or humping everything that comes around, is not a pagan thing. I say again, ladies and gentlemen, you do not have to be 24/7 horny, 24/7 naked, into skyclad rituals to be pagan. It is not a requirement. It is not a must. It is not written somewhere in the choke pagan Bible. There's not a pagan Bible. There won't ever be a pagan Bible, I hope. So there you have it. Just because you like or you don't like skyclad, being nude, humping bedpost, or asexual. I know a boatload of pagans that are asexual. Asexual, if you don't know the meaning, are those that do not like sex of any kind for any reason, period. They just don't do sex. Period. Well, it doesn't make you pagan or non-pagan. Um, Pagan, Christian, Muslim, Jewish, atheist, Baha'i, blah, 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 blah. I can go on and on and on about the religions of the world. Whether or not you are of one form of sexuality or another, asexual, homosexual, bisexual, heterosexual, pansexual, BDSM sexual. Hell, I can't remember the rest. In short, your sexuality has nothing to do with your religion. Your religion should have nothing to do with your sexuality. What you are and who you are is simply that. Congratulations, Kim, definitely. Um, since she got married, her husband has helped her become more comfortable with her body. Absolutely. That's wonderful. That's great. And that's the way it should be. Your mate, your friends, your acquaintances, people you stand in circle with, people you practice with or not, whatever. People should make people feel more comfortable about their bodies. So this brings me to the latter part of the conversation. Pagans and Sky-clad, right? Non-pagans and nudist, because non-pagans, if you tell them they're living sky-clad, they're going to look at you like, what? What are you talking about? There is absolutely nothing wrong with not wanting to be unclothed. That is a personal emotion, action, that is as personal as what you do in your own home. To me, it's none of my business. It's none of anybody else's business. And it's damn sure none of the government's business what you do in your own home. Okay? And that being said, okay, I'm going to bare my throat. There you go. I'm going to bare my throat and stick it out there for somebody to reach up and slit it. But this is a personal opinion. This is a personal thought. Okay? Ready? Got your affirmations ready? Got your swords ready? Got your knives ready? To reach up and go. Alright. Here we go. Don's personal thought is, I believe that men and women, if men can go topless, so can women. I believe that if I am walking down the street and a woman and or a man should walk by or approach me stark ass naked, if they walk by, I might, well, I would notice their beauty. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't make any difference if you're 400 pounds or 100 pounds. Your heart, yourself, and your being is what makes you beautiful. But I believe that every man or woman should have the right to walk down a busy ass main street with thousands of people on it, stark ass naked, and not be chastised because of it. Women should not have to worry about being raped because they're walking down the street naked. Men should not have to worry about somebody kicking them in the balls because they're walking down the street naked. That's just my own personal belief. I've always believed that way. I've always felt that way. The human body is the body that we're given. Stretch marks that are acquired over time by women who have given birth to children or gained and lost a lot of weight. There's a multitude of things that'll cause stretch marks. Men who have stretch marks because they've gained and lost a lot of weight or one reason or another that has caused stretch marks. That is not something we should be embarrassed about. It's just not. Society is so wrapped up in anti nudity that people don't have the opportunity to be proud of the body that they have. And this is another thing that we talked about when we had sky-clad rituals. We always had pre-ritual meetings, where the attendees of the circle, and there may be 100 plus at the time, granted sky-clad rituals, we only had 10, 15, 20, sometimes 30 people, because you mentioned the word sky-clad ritual, and people that attend on a Sabbathly basis, they scatter like flies, man, like gone. Okay. But we always had a pre-rip meeting that said, you're not required to be sky-clad. If you don't have a perfect body, don't worry about it. We're not there to look at you as a sexual being. We're not there to judge you for what you have or don't have. Those of you guys, okay, blunt alert. Those of you guys that are my age and above that have certain health issues that what you used to have, you don't have because it ain't there. Skyclad ritual is not to show off your wares. Skyclad ritual is not designed for you to show off your tools or the lack thereof. Skyclad ritual is to put you in a mindset of a form of self gathering to the gods for you, not for other people. I know a number of people that like to go to skyclad rituals because of the energy of the ritual. Skyclad rituals have a little bit of a different energy. We used to have people that would come to skyclad rituals and sit just outside a circle to observe and later ask questions. And they loved the energy. I never once had anybody complain of the energy of a skyclad ritual. So there you have it. And I haven't seen anybody cussing me over in the chat area about my thought or self-belief that humans should be able to be the natural self. Society in which we live has become so wrapped up in body judgmental, right? The judgmentality of bodies. Um, I did that church on self perception. Oh my God. I started out the church with some videos of the perceived, um, what women should look like in a bathing suit contest. And then I followed that up with a video of real women in a bathing suit contest. Both to me were very beautiful. I did that church on self perception, self awareness, how one feels about self. Some of the other groups that I posted on, I had my ass handed to me. How dare I, as a man, do a video on feminine self perception? But it sadly goes to show where our sociological fundamentalism, fundamentalist ideologies are today. And I truly do find it mildly disturbing that we're in this age of um, self destruction, both physically, emotionally, psychologically, and sexually. Most definitely spiritually. So I want to kind of draw to a close, if you will. This has been a topic I've wanted to do for quite a while. And I figure we're close to the end of the 2017 Open Pagan Church season. We're going to be coming up with more risque topics for the 2018 season. We're going to be coming up with more social conversation about what's going on in society. I'm going to try to take newsreels of what's going on globally, not just in America, the UK, other countries where people live that watch our broadcast. But I'm going to be putting together a set of conversations where we discuss society and how we can handle those as pagans. So, that being said, I will give you the rest of your Sunday back. I want to thank you for watching this broadcast of Open Pagan Church. We will, I hope, be right back here next week with another broadcast. Have a good week. Take care of yourself. Be safe out there. We're coming into the holidays. Weather up north is atrocious. I know that the northeastern states in America are getting hammered. Be safe out there, you guys, definitely. Thank you for watching Open Pagan Church. We'll see you next Sunday.